Welcome back. Welcome back. Your man Dominic K in here, of course. The Dominic K Show here on Radio on Fire Television. So, a woman who has lodged a sexual harassment allegation against Chris Cuomo said that she was disgusted at his hypocrisy and attempts to discredit women who made similar accusations against his brother. She said this via her attorney today. So, Chris Cuomo fired by CNN over these accusations. Now, the alleged behavior occurred before Cuomo joined CNN in 2013. Prior to that, he worked at ABC News. So you have these allegations out there, and you have this whole debacle. We are going to dive into this. Of course, this is the Diamond K Show. And here in the program, we dive into the biggest political trending news stories of the day. This one has been unfolding all week. So the woman's complaint became known shortly after CNN fired the Cuomo primetime anchor Saturday night. So Chris Cuomo has been criticized for what they say is breaching journalistic ethics by trying to help his brother. Of course, we're talking about the former governor of New York, Andrew Cuomo. So Andrew Cuomo had his own sexual harassment charges. And here's the biggest problem that I have. Okay, if we're going to set a standard, if there's going to be a standard where we are holding journalists to some type of a standard, right? If we're going to hold journalists to this standard, we got to make this across the board. Because there are a lot of mainstream journalists, Sean Hannity, Tucker Carlson, plenty of them that are closely connected to people in power and people who do things for people that are in power. And then they get on the airwaves and they may talk about it, they may not. So folks that are celebrating Cuomo's firing, ironically, are some of the same folks who ignore all of the charges against Donald Trump when he was in office and numerous others, right? So no specifics were given about the alleged behavior. No specifics, but CNN quickly cutting ties. The former CNN anchor, Chris Cuomo, said through a spokesman that the charges were untrue. He said that if the goal in making these false and unvetted accusations was to see Mr. Cuomo punished by CNN, that may explain his unwarranted termination. They didn't have time to vet any of this stuff. So somebody can just come out and say, you did X, Y, Z, and then you just get fired? That sounds like a wrongful termination there. I mean, nothing. He hasn't been charged with anything. He's not in jail. We don't even know what he was accused of. Anyway, so they said that Cuomo's firing, tied to these accusations, CNN acting promptly on her client's complaint and fired Mr. Cuomo. Why was he fired? Who knows? He's fired because he's the latest victim or latest casualty to the Me Too movement. Is that what this is? We don't even know what he was Me Too'd about. Right? So of course CNN suspended him Tuesday last week after learning through documents released by New York's Attorney General that his actions in support of his brother were more extensive than previously known. So he helped his brother out. Okay. A law firm was hired by CNN and they looked into Cuomo's actions and they determined the network had cause to fire him. Of course, they could probably terminate him anytime they want, right? That's probably the way that the structure is set up through, write-ups, suspensions, and then, of course, termination. So they did that. But I think that they knew Tuesday that they were going to fire him. So they did a suspension first, and then they just did that. They dotted their I's and crossed their T's, as people say. So with this new misconduct allegation, unfounded, unvetted, uninvestigated, all of that, the network, I guess they were just tired of this. There have been other allegations against Cuomo, Chris Cuomo. And so the lady, so this is the strangeness of these type of things. So this alleged incidents, whatever it is, occurred prior to 2013, right? So she didn't say nothing all this time, but according to her attorney, when she found out more information about Chris Cuomo's on-air words, now his efforts to try to, according to her, discredit accusers of his brother. Oh, then she had enough. Oh, now she's mad. So she had enough. She's mad. And then she gets an attorney and she goes to his job or his former job at CNN. Now he gets fired. All right. And so that's where it is. And whether you agree with Cuomo's stances on politics or whether you don't, this type of this type of stuff should be disturbing to you. All right. What if it's somebody that you do agree with their stuff? The right-leaning folks, this doesn't happen to them too often. I mean, Bill O'Reilly, okay, but his was so numerous, and there was evidence. This is just an accusation. But there was also the veteran TV executive Shelley Ross, who wrote a column for the New York Times back in September saying that Chris Cuomo had groped her at a party 16 years ago when they both worked for ABC News. Cuomo told the newspaper, "I apologized to her then, and I meant it." All right. And so with that being said, I mean, yeah, every woman who any guy has groped, you come out and come to their jobs now and say they were groped. I mean, how could you? I mean, yeah, this guy felt my butt 16 years ago. I mean, you can't prove that she can't prove that you did it. You can't prove that you didn't do it. I mean, so what? I mean, I don't know. So maybe every time I've been in the club and some lady is grabbed my junk, I need to go to their jobs, depending on where they work at now, and try to say this. There was I've talked about this a couple times. There was a famous R&B artist from the 90s who grabbed my butt at V103 in Baltimore. This is a true story. Do I need to go into her record company and start talking about which, I mean, this is craziness. This is craziness. If that's all it is, if you felt her butt or something like that. Anyway, the other things, I guess, that got him suspended, the criticism regarding his actions and what he did to quote unquote help his brother. When they say help his brother still had to resign. I don't know how much help he was for his brother. I mean, brother still had to resign. If this is what help looks like, because Andrew Cuomo's career looks like it's pretty much on life support, and he had a whole team, and his brother helped him, and none of that was successful. But yeah, we need to punish these people that helped him He still resigned. Career is over. This is back in August. It's never easy being in this business and coming from a political family, says Cuomo. I never attacked nor encouraged anyone to attack any woman who came forward, Cuomo said on air. I never made calls to the press about my brother's situation. And it doesn't appear that he did that, but it appears that he did have communication with his brother's team. And I don't know why people are surprised about that. It's his brother and folks that work with and for his brother. Why wouldn't he know them? Why is this a surprise? There's an email from last March, newly released by New York's Attorney General. Cuomo told one of his brother's aides that I have a lead on the wedding girl. Who's the wedding girl? They're referring to a woman who said in news reports that she was uncomfortable with how the governor touched her when they met at a wedding. Uncomfortable, okay, and that is fine. Some of these guys just do too much. Chris Cuomo, in testimony to Attorney General Letitia James, the investigators anyway, explained that a source had called him. He said this, a source had called him and suggested that maybe the accuser had been put up to making the accusation. Maybe put up to. I think all of this is put up to. I think that the Cuomo family has been targeted and taken down successfully in this. I mean, that's what happened. And they have a lot of enemies out there. And it appears that the enemies have gotten the upper hand. Now, it doesn't help that the Cuomo clan, these two guys, have been moving around here real loose. They have been moving around real loose. And stuff that may have not been that big of a deal to them turns out that it actually was a big deal. So he relayed to his brother's aides that he thought maybe she was put up to it, or he got word that she was put up to it. And, so they told him that the woman made her discomfort known soon after it happened. So this wasn't something that lady held in like the most recent anonymous accuser of him. This lady, the wedding wedding girl, as he called her, she said she was uncomfortable from the rip. And she definitely has the right to do that. Chris Cuomo, also testified to investigators a month before he told CNN viewers he had not called the press about his brother's situation, that he reached out privately to media figures to find out if there would be other accusers. So, I don't know. I mean, so he a month before he told the CNN viewers he had not called the press, he told them that he had reached out privately to media figures. What does that mean? He reached out privately. I don't know. So they're really coming down on him about that. Me reaching out privately. What's wrong with you? Or, if we're going to fire people for lying on air, there would be nobody on air. Most of these people get on TV and lie. Whether we're talking about COVID-19, whether we're talking about some of Trump's foolishness, whether we're talking about some of Biden's foolishness, whether we're talking about VP Harris. I mean, these people get on TV and lie. They get on TV and lie all the time. And they tell you, it's not a crime to lie. Not a crime to lie. You can lie to viewers, no problem. Cuomo said that he's never tried to influence his own network's coverage of his brother's problems, and no evidence has emerged that he did. All right. So what happens now? Cuomo's an attorney. Cuomo's going to be okay. All right. Both Cuomos are going to be all right. I don't know what they're going to do next. I don't know what they have planned. They'll be fine. The bigger issue that I have is what exactly was Chris Cuomo fired? I guess he was fired over some allegations or an allegation of something that happened before he even worked there. And it's not even proven. I could see if this was proven. Somebody just coming out saying that, I have a problem with that. I'm going to need more evidence. Because if I'm Chris Cuomo, he handled it very gracefully, very politely, but he can't get another job. His firing leaves a hole in CNN's weeknight lineup. So he was in a busy slot up against Sean Hannity at the Fox News channel and Rachel Maddow on MSNBC. A lot of times, Cuomo was the most watched personality on CNN. And so they have let him go. And at least this week in his time slot is going to be Michael Smerconish. I like Michael Smerconish. So that's going to be a test. They're going to see whether or not Smerconish is going to be in that role. I don't know yet whether or not Cuomo's Sirius XM, he does Sirius XM in the afternoon. I'm not sure whether or not he's going to be fired there. But whatever his compete clause is up, I'm sure we're going to see the younger brother, Chris Cuomo, somewhere else. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, TikTok at The Diamond K Show. On Fire Television, of course. I am here daily on firetelevision.com, diving into the latest trending topics, trending news stories, and so much more. Interviews and original reporting from across the country. We'll be back later on. What's going on? It's your man, John McKay, here to tell you about the Black Market Baltimore, which is a Black business showcase. It's the holiday season, so you know what it is, the Christmas edition. Join us as we celebrate community and support local Black-owned businesses. Saturday, December the 11th, 2021, from 5 to 9 p.m., 2501 Putty Hill Avenue, number 2301 in Parkville. It's the Black Market Baltimore Black Business Showcase, hosted by Fathom Got the Juice, with music by DJ Lil Mike. For more information, visit them on Instagram at Black Market Baltimore. Of course, you got to come out. The Black Market Baltimore Black Business Showcase. Be there.